This episode is brought to you by Elric's Hobbies. Check out elricshobbies.com and take your hobby to that next level.
Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
Space Marines and traitor guardsmen fight alongside them, followed by hordes of cultists and warp-tainted psychers. Demons caper in the wake of the Black Crusade, waiting for the boundary between realities to shatter so they can pour forth and sate their hunger on souls that burn bright with life. Beset on all sides by aliens, heretics, and witches, the Imperium can only watch as Cadia is assailed by the greatest army Abaddon the Despoiler has ever assembled, and weep as Cadia fights its last war.
This is The Long War. I'm Robbie B, and joining me are my partners in crime for 2017, Kenny Boucher, Mike Haspel, and Stephen Four. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, great to be here.
Yo, what's happening, everybody?
It is awesome to be here.
Question mark?
Yo, Haspel, what an amazing reading. Like, I actually was hoping you were going to read the, books. I was hoping to pull up my seat and get some popcorn out. I was ready to listen.
I was trying not to channel Jocko Willink because that started to happen, and I was like, "Don't pretend to be Jocko. I don't deserve to breathe the same air as that man." So,
Oh, that was super good. Yeah, so it looks like this book might be super good.
Wait, that was a book? What is this? I thought that we were just talking about stuff that's happening right now in real life.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Cadia's a real place.
Yeah. I mean, obviously.
No, that was a preview out of the White Dwarf article for the new what is it? The Fall of Cadia supplement.
yeah.
So this is a new supplement
Gathering
campaign?
Storm.
Like, what is this?
Gathering
This is
Storm,
basic.
Fall of
Yeah.
Cadia.
It's a new campaign book. It's basically takes place right after the Wrath of Magnus, and it is kicking off properly the 13th Black Crusade.
Haven't we been into the 13th Black Crusade like the entire time I've been alive?
No, that was the fake one. This is the real one.
Oh,
That
It's
makes a lot of sense now.
2003 all over again.
Yeah.
Because as long as I've been alive, practically, it's been the 13th Black Crusade. And you're telling me that was all just fake?
It was like that series Dallas where JR was shot.
Oh, yeah. We Dallased it.
It was a dream.
It was a dream. That's a weird dream. I can't wait to go tell God.
Or you can say, you reach the end of what we knew, and then it's like, but that's not how it really happened. Here's how it really went down. And that's what they're doing.
Oh, so 300.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, basically.
Oh, word. Well, this is the first podcast of 2017, and we are back. So I want to know what you guys did for the last 3 weeks.
Yo, isn't it crazy? It doesn't even feel like it's been that long. I spent the holidays in Disney. Come to find out, Kenny, you and I linked up. we made shit happen.
We made something happen.
By the way, Kenny, I think your dog needs a bath.
She's looking mangy, I ain't gonna lie. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, you can find it on Facebook anywhere. It's on the Long War Network Facebook page on Next Level Painting. There was a caption contest with that the announcer was one. It was Warlander TV. You want a fat mat from tablewar.com, the original creators of gaming mats. The winner was pretty amazing. It's in Discord right now. If you guys don't know, we have a Discord page. Check it out anytime during the week. But the winner was iconic. A simply classy stated image, reposted image of the picture we posted with the Brazers logo on the bottom left corner.
Yeah, and there was some epic play on words. There was some epic, like, elongated stories. I'm talking about, like, people went hard. And I love it is my man literally just, like, photo stamped bottom left corner, Brazers, dropped the mic, looking around everybody's like, who do I pick my fat mat up?
Yeah, where do I?
Is it you?
Do I take a ticket? Like,
do I need to get it now, or you can send it to me because this is the winner?
When I contacted him, I was like, yo, just so you know, like, you're going to probably win. So you need to be on the stream to win or goes to second place. He's like, oh, I know I won. Like, I knew I won when I posted that. I was like, where?
Well, obviously.
It was good though. But so wacky stuff happened. Obviously, it's been so long. It's like the classic, like, yo, it's been a long time. Should have left you without a dope beat to step to.
Absolutely. We're on the
we were doing
webcast
stuff.
tonight, and we just went from one story to another. What we had going on, what was this? And I feel like that's the best way to kick off a brand new year is you got to talk about what's been happening and then reminisce on, obviously, some classy stories.
I have only one story I want to tell today. So I won't dominate with a bunch of, because I did a lot of weird shit and a lot of dumb things. Obviously, that's my life. Of one story to share. And then I'll be done with my holiday extravaganza, which took place in Universal City Walk and Islands of Adventure when we were down there. This happened after the Brazzers filming session that Juice and I did in Inverness at my parents' crib. So we went to Harry Potter World, as I like to call now Universal Islands of Adventure, because everything else basically sucks compared to Harry Potter World. And I'm not a Harry Potter guy. I don't know fucking shit about Harry Potter, right? I've watched the movies and they're pretty cool. I ain't gonna lie. They're tight, whatever. But my lady loves it. And so I'm like, yo, let's do this thing. And okay, it's amazing. Anyone hasn't gone, it's worth it. It was 100% worth it. Fully fucking realistic, actually from the movie, the whole little world, walking around Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade, taking the Hogsmeade Express between the two kingdoms. It was fucking brilliant, right? So chillaxing at the, I think it's called the Boar's Head. Now I remember that because there was literally a gigantic Boar's Head in there. Pretty sure it's from the movie. It's a bar. Booze is flowing. Don't get it twisted in the Harry Potter world. Like,
it's going down.
Yo, literally ain't no fucking joke. The restaurants were on point. All was authentic English breakfasts and fish and chips. It was all clutch as fuck. One of my favorite moments actually was I walked into Diagon Alley. I think it's the Three Brooms is the restaurant in that section. As soon as you walk into Diagon Alley, which is hidden, you walk in and it smells disgusting. It smells like a fucking dank ass, disgusting alley, right? Like how alleys smell because they're making fish and chips in this restaurant. It doesn't matter how well you make fish. It smells like shit while it's being prepared.
Mm-hmm.
That's just fish. And so I walk into this alley. I'm like, yo, we're in Harry Potter World. I'm like, oh my God, we're in a gutter. And it felt that way for like the first, 20 steps because it's just like you're just in an alley. Like,
way to keep it too real.
It was 4D. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was epic. And so we ended up at we spent like all day. We ate breakfast, got English breakfasts at one of the restaurants, got lunch at one of the other ones, and then we were getting our drink on at this Boar's Head. Walk in, getting the butterbeer. You gotta get the butterbeers trademarked Universal. They will tell you about this. I know why it's trademarked. And I got the talking to. We're in there and everyone's in character. That's literally fucking you walk in there, everybody's in character. And if you're on the Diagon Alley side, and you're talking to the train conductor, that's a motherfucking muggle. He don't know shit about magic. So don't ask him where the wand shop is or he's gonna be an asshole to you.
Yeah, he's gonna be an asshole. What
Okay?
wand are you talking about?
Hey, 6 a.m, I'm just saying, maybe play to your crowd a little bit better, homie.
Yeah.
I was not ready for that fucking level of fucking commitment to your role.
I promised my girl a wand, and I swear to God,
I swear to God, dog.
If the next person I talk to says he don't know nothing about a wand, it's going down.
Yeah, like motherfucker broke characters. Like, there's a wand shop. Just get on the train. You'll be fine. I was like, okay. Glad to say you weren't fucking with me.
Yeah.
So I end up at the Boar's Head. We're there, slamming drinks. Many hours later, Bonet's got her wand. She's casting spells on people. She's slithering. She's got a literal skeleton fucking cobra wand now. She's just embraced the dark side now. So we're getting our drinks. I'm like, yo, give me 2 butterbeers, 2 shots of Jameson, and a shot of vodka. It's like $1 billion, like $50, $60. You know what I mean? I'm like, word, and everyone's in character at the bar. It's legit. And she's like, yeah. And I just poured 2 shots of Jameson in my butterbeer and 1 shot of vodka in her beer and just grabbed them, start walking back to the table. And the lady's like, whoa, you can't make potions in here.
I mean that shit.
Like,
I mean that.
I call the popo.
I was like, wait, potion? What the fuck are you talking about, woman? And then I had to think back to that conductor. I was like, I was like, well, can I just order them this way? She's like, no, butterbeer is trademarked. You can't do that. I have to take those from you.
Yeah. I would have been like, okay, my Patronus is a space marine, so shit's about to go down.
It's like, hey, yo, for real, Harry Potter, like, let me explain something to you. You better get that Harry Potter police in here because ain't nobody is taking my $50 butterbeer out of my fucking hands now. that we are past that point, homie.
Yeah, motherfucker. I need to see a lion with wings and that big motherfucker who keeps him chained up. If they don't walk in the door, I'm drinking my beer, homie.
Yeah,
I want you to know that.
Drinking this butterbeer.
It needs to get that real.
And so we walk out to the outdoor area at the bar. You can see Hogwarts Castle. It's the sun setting, and I drank this beer, and it was fantastic. It was the right call. And actually, I got that tech from a clutch ass bartender who's actually the same name as Bonet. Right? We were outside in Universal at the Jaws area, and there's like some bartenders out there slinging these amazing margaritas, and this guy literally. I'm just talking about Bonet, and she's like, yeah, 13-year-old Bonet is going to go crazy in her mall. And this guy looks at her like, who the fuck are you talking to? Because his name's Bonet.
Oh, no way.
but with a T, right? And it's like, wait, he was like, you guys, how the fuck do you know who I am? You know what I mean?
You guys.
And we just built a rapport with this guy because it was the best deal on drinks in the fucking park. And he was like, yo, if I was going to make a butterbeer cocktail, quote unquote, I would pour Jameson in there. And I was like, word. And so
you had me at Jameson.
So like, a day later, I'm in the bar's head, remembering this conversation. I'm like making this fucking cocktail potion. And it was the right call. It totally enhanced the butterbeer. And that is the way to drink it all day, every day. And, but be warned, they will throw you into Azkaban or whatever.
Sirius Black.
Sirius Black, Azkaban.
Let me just say though, I've seen Oz, and there ain't nothing that you bring in Azkaban that's gonna even faze me. So that was my highlight story of my travels.
Yeah, let them know in Azkaban you ain't got to worry about dropping the soap.
No, that's not a thing. That's bad. Sorry, guys, it ain't that scary.
What was Bonet's quote? Like, yo, they make you go insane in Azkaban. Like, come to find out, that'll make some people go insane.
Yeah, Oz, you're gonna go insane plus some other things.
I was gonna say it's gonna be called The Prisoner of Ass Cabin.
Someone just posted that in chat as you were saying it.
There it is. I think Juice did something this holiday break too.
I did on Christmas Day at the beautiful Magic Kingdom. And right before the fireworks went off, I went down on a knee and proposed to my lovely fiance, and she said yes.
Well, so that was that kept it from being embarrassing, I suppose.
Yeah,
she could have said no.
Congratulations.
Hey, appreciate it. Yeah, it was a great time. It was definitely a bittersweet Christmas. It was awesome, but it was a different one because it's just about everybody knows who's been listening for us for a while now. I lost my father back in February, so this was the first Christmas without him. And so, but man, we had an absolute blast, had a great time, went down there to Disney and stayed at Fort Wilderness, did it up. It was a really great time. We were back at the Disney during the summertime, as you guys recall, and we stayed at the Polynesian, did their whole resort and everything. Like, nah, man, screw that. I'm telling you, in my opinion, it's not worth the money. Just hit up, either somewhere off property and go in, or Fort Wilderness. They had places to rent. It was unbelievable. What an absolute blast. Yeah, we got stories for days.
You guys brought the camper though.
Right? Yeah. We've got a big 35-foot pull behind camper.
It's as big as my
Sleeps
apartment.
9. Yeah, sleeps 9. And obviously we've just been doing this. We're still noobs to it. We haven't had it a full season yet. It's just coming up, but we do something. We kind of got to go full bore with it. And we've been to quite a few. We've already taken it to Michigan, to Disney, to all around the coast here, and we've seen quite a few campsites. And of course, you're like, oh, you're at a campgrounds, wow, that's whatever. It's like, nah, motherfucker, if Disney touches it, it's gold. You know what I mean? They're not going to put their stamp on something that isn't just top class. So it was an absolute great time.
It's not like the campgrounds out where I live in Hollywood, where you have to explain to your friends who visit, well, that's what happens when one homeless man loves another homeless man. So that's what goes on.
That's what goes on in those tent parties. So it was an absolute blast. Speaking of, we didn't even get to Robbie B or Haspel. How was your guys' breaks?
Well, Rob can go first. Mine was very mundane.
I traveled, went to hang out with my dad. Didn't get to spend a lot of time with him on Thanksgiving. So we hooked up, and he suckered me in going outside and put me to work in the yard.
Classic.
So that's why Robbie B looks like he's bulked up a little bit on his switcher. He's been outside doing manual labor.
Yeah.
And, on the low, like obviously you must have cut down trees with a hatchet.
Yeah, he gave me a chainsaw, and he's like, "Here, I want you to trim all these bushes." And I'm like,
"Is that what that picture was from?" I was like, "What the fuck is Rob doing yard work for? Motherfucker lives in an apartment."
Yeah, he must have needed a picture, so he went outside to the gardening guys, like either waited for him to go use the bathroom and pick it up real quick, or was like, "Yo, dude, I need to make people believe that I do shit outside." So it's like, "Here, gardener guy, take this picture for me while I hold your shit."
Dude, that's so ridiculous. That's exactly the kind of shit my dad pulls too. So like, it's good to see that they all think the same way.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, want to come check out the new addition on the house?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's go take a look." And we get out there and we're doing.
Where's the addition, Dad?
I was like, "Oh, you got me." And then so
we're building it.
yeah, obviously. And I'm trimming down these bushes, and I'm like, "Whoa, this can't be that hard." And he's like, "Yeah, here's the hedge trimmer." Then I'm like, this, and I'm thinking to myself, I was like, "This is totally a chainsaw." I was like, my dad has no idea what that is, so I'm not even going to tell him. And then he still thinks I like play with baseball cards or something. And and so I'm trimming down all the bushes, and I discover on the other side of the bushes over the fence, my neighbor still has his camper parked in the same spot for the last 20 years, because it's like the other bushes on his side have grown around it. And it's like one of those 35-foot campers and everything.
So you're actually cutting your neighbor's bushes that are like wrapped around the camper.
Yeah, I was like, "Dad, I don't know how to tell you, but now you can see this really awesome camper back here now that I don't think has moved since I lived here in the 90s.
Yeah. Then his response is, "Son, put the branches back."
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I can't put them back.
Dads don't think that far in advance. They're just like, chores have to be done.
Yeah. So it turns out if I never have any hobby stuff to stream or write about, that I have a promising backup career as a landscape.
I can't believe you just didn't pick up the phone and call somebody. I can't believe you did that shit yourself.
I mean, to be honest, like Robbie B, I just need to know: did you or did you not get a callus on your hands?
I did not get a callus. I have I have calloused hands from all the bits clipping I've done over the years.
Oh, absolutely! I should have known.
I even used a rake and everything. It's crazy.
Word, I'm proud.
All right. Last thing before we get to Haspel, when you used the rake, did you or did you not wear leather gloves?
I knew that was a thing, and I was like, "Nah, I'm good."
Just raw dog it.
He duct taped his hands up. And that's what he did.
That's it. Robbie B, you're an animal. I want you to know you're an animal. I didn't realize how savage you were. I saw the trimmer, you saw the rake, the gloves. I know we're right next to it. You're like, not today. A lot of things are gonna happen. Me putting those gloves on aren't it.
I told you I've been bulking up. I've been getting since summer.
Fuck.
Some hobby muscles. I had to open a can of spray paint the other day. I just ripped the top right off. Just
wasted the spray paint.
Just so you know, that's just how they open, as far as I can tell.
No. Normally you have to get a screwdriver and you have to like pop the lid off.
I see that little tab on there, and I assume it's for something. But in the history of ever, have I not resorted to a screwdriver to open it?
I actually thought it was just so it didn't get wedged on. So you could like squeeze real hard right there and it just popped right off. I didn't know something was made to go in there. Robbie B has now, I mean, you're basically, you're a full grown man now.
Yeah, you're a grown ass man now.
That's
pretty much all that is man, actually.
That's it. Like that's actually you. There's not much difference between you and Denzel Washington.
There's zero difference. Yeah. I literally can't even tell those guys apart.
Nah, exact same. All right,
have you ever seen them in the same room at the same time? No.
Yeah, I had to work, unfortunately. So I was working, and then I came home and I was working on restoring an old gaming computer that I had for a new secret project that I'm working on, which isn't so secret anymore. But I was just prepping to get a Twitch stream going on some new stuff to contribute to the Long War Network. And it's essentially for those who don't know, it's like last year I got kind of salty about playing Chaos yet again on the team tournament. And I don't play Chaos.
Kind of salty, real quick. Let's just, I mean,
kind of salty. I mean, you're not lying.
You guys heard me really salty last time, and I was not that at Adepticon.
Yeah, no, it's true.
So
you're right. It was definitely a degree under that type of salt.
Plus, I suffer from resting bitch face, so if I'm not grinning from ear to ear like an idiot, everyone assumes I'm pissed off. So
that's what we played 3 games together. We both were pissed off.
Yeah.
Lucius did bullshit.
Who the fuck who got at least to cast invisibility once in a while?
Yeah.
Did.
Yeah. But in any case, we came to this conclusion that I would get to pick the team. So I was just like, okay, we're going to play like Inquisition. And I even signed up to basically, I'm going to paint everything because these are armies I have anyway. So, so yeah, I'm a little bit behind, you might say. So I thought, well, I'm going to have to do, and plus I'm going to say this right now, and whether or not it's true, whether it comes to fruition, my goal this year is to win the best display at Adepticon, which is
best team
display. That is an unbelievable achievement, and it's setting the bar ridiculously high.
Wow, I want you to know. So
last year it was a fucking literal coffin. Remember?
Yes, yeah. With like 10,000 skulls inside it or something crazy.
Yeah, and even the Chicago Kamikaze guys, like those guys did some amazing shit.
Yeah, they had a whole Dark Eldar fleet webbing out of a wall.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that as there's like some Haswell that's impossible. Like I am literally, my jaw just dropped a little bit. Like Haswell was there. He saw the competition. Like he is going into this like balls out. And that is amazing. Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
So I figured, well, since I'm going to have to do this over the course of really 2.5 months, maybe a little less, we might as well air it because I'm going to be casting stuff. I'm going to be carving stuff. I'm going to be doing stained glass. I'm going to be doing LEDs. I'm going to be doing all kinds of crazy stuff. If you want to learn how to do any of this stuff, tune in because that's the goal, right? I'm not saying I'm going to pull any of this stuff off. But that's the vision, that it starts off with. So that was basically my break is me on the phone with my boy Dave, and he, surfing Tom's hardware as we try to figure out a fault in the computer, troubleshooting power supplies, video cards, all this stuff. I finally got the thing up and running. And then, and Kenny didn't say this, but we literally brought in the new year with Kenny teaching me how to use OBS. So, and it was tight. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I hung up with him literally at 11:59 Pacific time. Because we were screen share, hanging out, working on this for hours, and I was like, all right, I gotta go. And he's like, all right, and we're going to the other room. Have a New Year, baby. Give her a New Year's kiss. Fucking stay up, celebrate a little bit longer, and then go to bed. But that's basically. But I'm on the West Coast, so that's like the last people to celebrate New Year's, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, y'all are pretty much in the past.
Yeah. Maybe Hawaii's later?
Yeah, there's 7 hours behind. Yeah. I'm going to get so huge watching Haspel's stream. Y'all won't even recognize me at Adepticon. I'm going to be like J-Troop big.
I mean, my jaw just dropped on the floor. Like, I mean, we're talking about shooting for the moon here, guys. We got Haswell is about to blow hobby minds. Robbie B is about to push up all the weight. Like, I actually think that there's a better chance that obviously, for Robbie B to turn into J Troop, it would take.
That's easier than what Haspel's doing.
It would take gene seed. It would take a gene seed.
A gene seed.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There is a chance.
There is a chance.
Okay, good.
Did you see the guy?
You keep eating those Domino's gluten-free pizzas. It would not put you where you need to be at.
Oh,
we got to
next
step up the game.
Yo, when you come over here, I found not me. It was more James. But apparently, right around the corner, there's like an authentic Brooklyn pizzeria, and they have gluten-free crust. And then they were like super nice about it too. Pizza. They're like, how was it? And I was like, oh, it was great. And they're like, oh, thank God. It tastes terrible to us. And I was like,
Wow, they actually referred to you not as you gluten people.
Yeah, and they didn't make fun of me. They didn't snicker at me either when I ordered it. They're just
you're like, you don't know the meaning of what tastes bad.
Yeah.
Like, I know. I have the glutens. Did you guys see the post that Sander posted up? He's the guy who took home the last always keep the tip clean next level painting stream shirt.
Oh, he's huge too.
You see that? We had 4 left. That was it of the exclusive run of t-shirts, and we gave them out as top donor giveaways on the stream. But we obviously, it's only 4, so the size is the size. You know what I mean? So I was like, when you get like, we had 4 left, winner gets to pick what size, and then eventually when the last one, the only one left is a 3XL.
Yeah, 4. I think it was a 3 or 4XL. I thought I saw.
Only one man so far has bought a 4XL. Pothis UK, like I know it costs $25 to ship a 4XL to the UK.
Oh,
I will never forget. It's the only one I've ever made. So, but it's 3XL, and he was like, "Yo, I need that." My man Sanders like, "Yo, I need that, dog." And I was like, "Word, yo, I got you, bro. Because we go up, 25 minutes. You have an opportunity to win it." And he's like, "Yo, how big is it?" And I was like, "Well, let me put it on real quick. And I'll tell you." I put it on real quick. I was like, "It's a little big on me. It's a little big on me, homie." And he's like, "Word, I think we're the same size, so fuck it. Yeah, I'll buy it. I'll go in. I'll go balls deep. I'll try to win it." I was like, "Yeah, word." And I was like, "Word." I mean, I didn't realize there's that many big dudes walking around. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you guys can all see me on the screen, so I think it's clear exactly how big I am, right?
Mostly.
Like you're like,
I see you.
Yeah.
Like you guys, when
you
you guys see me on YouTube, you see me on anything, like you understand that, like, okay, you can see the proportions of of my frame. So there's no mystery here when I say I put it on, it's a little big on me, and you say I think we're the same size. Word, got it. He posted a picture of himself wearing it the other day. He's like
5'8" Robbie B, right?
He might be tall. I can't comment on how tall he is, but he's definitely Robbie B build, as far as I can tell.
So basically swole. Got it.
And Justin Troop's comment, I was like, "Yo, you gotta go sleeveless, obviously. Like just embrace it." And then Justin Troop coming in, he's like, "Nah. That's bitch mode. Steroids until you fill that shirt out."
the troop has spoken.
Justin Troop has spoken. That's where we go. And now that we know that Gene Seed is an option, I like to revisit that post.
Yeah, I'm gonna need an apothecary. We're gonna have to do some
Trojanoid glands.
Mm-hmm.
What does it take? Like a year inside a sarcophagus or something like that? Like what do they do then?
I don't know. They put in all the different organs. It's like 18 different ones that they put in there. And
if we're talking now, there's that kind of time frame under J Troop's line of protocol. You can be in that shirt in 4 weeks, bro.
Yeah.
I got 4 weeks. I could probably do it. Can I get an organ that lets me eat gluten again?
Yeah. Oh, I thought Robbie B was like, "Oh, I can do 4 weeks." Robbie B, send me the 3XL.
Send me that. I got this.
I got the next one.
But it was hilarious. I did get a chuckle out of it.
Yeah. No, we have a special guest.
Oh, before we get to that, I got a couple things. Folks who bought like the Deathwing Space Hulk game. A lot of us got quite salty over it. I really liked the game. I thought it was really cool, but it was released with some pretty much bugs that made it unplayable. And one of the big bugs was that when you went to the inventory screen after leveling up, it would just like crash you to desktop or give you a fatal error or whatever. They have released a patch for that. So just look at that. It fixes a couple of other smaller issues, but that's the big issue that it fixes. You need no longer fear going to the inventory screen to change your weapons. You can now play the game the way it was intended, and hopefully they'll keep putting out more patches and fix it. And I know there's more features that they've promised that haven't come out yet. I've had a blast with the game, but it can be annoying when you're in there with a couple other guys and somebody gets a fatal error and drops out, especially if that person's the host.
So, Haspel, you literally just described my entire life when I try to turn on a computer. Can I download this to just let it help me with my day-to-day operations on a computer?
I don't think it works on a Mac.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So, yeah, I just realized I did want to say a funny story. I was gifted a MacBook Air for Christmas, and it sat on paperweight mode until tonight. Wednesday, the January 4th. So it's at like 10 days. And I decided I said, I got to do this. I got to put my big boy pants on. You know, the Eats Lab has got to get off the ground streaming wise and get on with all you guys on Twitch. I was like, I have got to learn, you know, how to use these computers. And so I popped it open, literally downloaded the software that was needed, read some words that I didn't understand, but I felt solid about my clicking yes and no's. And here we are, was able to, without a doubt, open up the computer, got on to the Hangout before the webcast tonight. And right when I saw the guys, their faces, I was like, wait a second, both of you, can you hear my voice right now? Can you see me? They're like, yeah, dog, what are you talking about? It's like the world is at my feet. I've figured out how to turn a computer on.
Nice.
I'm basically an IT guy at Best Buy.
You're basically like a white hat hacker now.
Mm-hmm. Ma'am, do me a favor. Press and hold the power button for 30 seconds. A long 30 seconds, ma'am. Now take the battery out and hold for 30 seconds.
Hello.
Somehow it worked.
This is John from Chicago. Like, oh, sure it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is.
Well, I feel we need to at least talk about Cadia a bit.
Yeah,
Well,
if there's any intel, the thing is this is probably going to be a light content episode because there's nothing to fucking talk about.
I mean,
Well,
we got the Armored Assault boxes that come out this week. Obviously, all the Cadian stuff goes on pre-order Saturday. So we're looking at what is the official releases? So it's the Fall Cadia book for $50 US. I think it's hardcover. And then we've got, checking my White Dwarf right here. It came in the mail. Thanks, GW. So we got the Fall Cadia book, 136-page book for $50. Then how do you say this word? I'm not good at big words. The triumvirate of the Imperium Haspel. How do you say
I
that?
have no idea. I haven't seen it.
Okay, the box of 5 dudes.
Is it triumvirate?
Triumvirate. That's it.
Okay.
So smart. So well spoken. The Triumvirate of the Imperium. And that is $80 US. That's all 5 of the new miniatures. So you got the Celestine, her 2 Gemini bodyguards, the Inquisitor Shadowfax, and what's his face? Archmagos Call.
Wait, the Inquisitor is not really named Shadowfax, is it?
The Greyfax, sorry.
Oh,
Lord of
okay. I
Rings,
was like,
Did you say it's a horse?
Gandalf's horse.
Yeah, that's
I know.
Gandalf's
Lord of Rings brain fart. Yep. That would have been awesome. No, and then of course the Disciple of Tzeentch Battle Tome for Age of Sigmar will be pre-order next week.
You had me there for a second too, Robbie. I was like, you get 5 chicks or 5 models for $80? What the fuck? It just they're actually quality 5 individual name dudes with yep, okay, cool. I can get behind that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that Mechanicum guy is massive too. Like, don't get it twisted.
What base is he on?
He's like monstrous creature size.
Absolutely. He's one of the 5.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you get the new Celestine. I mean, and she's huge.
Oh.
I mean,
he looks like he's on the cavalry base, like
it's gargantuan. I mean, Haspel, just so you know, if you haven't ordered it already, I'm going to buy that box set just for him. You can have the other 4 models. I mean, I'll send them to you because I have to own this guy. He's an animal.
I'm really looking forward to, obviously, Celestine. Although she's going to, I will say this, that depending on her rules, I may or may not be using her at LVO, but I will not be using the new model because she looks like a nightmare to transport. And it might not be because she's plastic, so it's all fused together. But when I looked at it with the doves and everything, I love the model, but I was like, man, I'm not going to have time to get to make a case that carries that without breaking. So I'll be using my old busted Celestine. That I literally held together with JB Weld so she doesn't fall apart.
I think this is on a 40 mil base, but so those are the big releases for this week.
Yeah. They might be on a smaller flying base. Like, yeah.
It's hard to say.
I want to say that this episode's from my brother David. Then, if you guys recall his comments on his first episode he ever listened to,
What was that?
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, I love this show," until you started talking about things. And it sucked.
we were talking about cereal. That was our.
What was the cereal episode? Okay.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, the show was great until you stopped talking about cereal and started talking about other stuff." Got it.
Yeah, he's like, "I never listened to your show before. It's pretty good for about 20 minutes, and it was just garbage, unlistenable." I was like, "Fuck you, man." So this is gonna be a David episode.
I do want to bring up something else though. Is in that White Dwarf, there's a picture of like the fall of Cadia defenders, and it has like a huge Imperial Guard force, and you can pick out Celestine in the middle with her 2 Gemini, and you can pick out like some Black Templars and some Mechanicum forces, and then off to the side, way in the corner, robot roll call, Trazyn the Infinite is there, Necron dude, and it's like, well,
is that the asshole that can control robots?
No. This is the collector guy.
He's the guy that has like. Well, they say in here too that I want to call it.
I've got it queued up. So this is out of the old Necron Codex, not the current one, the one before that. And in the one before that, he had a really nice piece of fluff where he was writing to Inquisitor Valeria. Because she had sent a bunch of Cadian troops into his thing, and he basically accepted them as a gift, and then wrote her this thing and gave her like a Tesseract
vault.
A Tesseract vault. Now, in the thing, it says, the sunken chambers are crowded with artifacts of all forms, the fabled Wraithbone choir of Altensar, the preserved head of Sebastian Thor, which if you follow the Inquisition, that's the Thorian cult that comes from there, the ossified husk of an enslaver, and here's the key, a giant of a man clad in Baroque power armor, his face contorted in a permanent screen. So a lot of folks think that that's not only a Primarch, it might be Vulcan. And this guy is there because on Cadia, there's like thousands of these things called pylons that are literally holding back the Eye of Terror. And if these pylons go away, the Eye of Terror engulfs the entire galaxy. And that is exactly what Abaddon is trying to do. I'm trying to remember, the Chaos guys actually have a name for that strategy. And I don't remember it off the top of my head, but it was like, it's like the Crimson Path or something like that. But that's what they call it, where the Eye of Terror will just keep growing and engulf everything. Well, the Necrons essentially built these pylons 65 million years before, when they were fighting the old ones, to serve as a defense against psychic abilities of the warp, because Necrons, of course, don't have psychers. So why is Trazyn there? Is he there to repair the pylons? Is he willing to trade maybe and go, hey, I'll give you back one of your Primarchs if you let me work on this stuff? We don't know. Snap. But the fact is his miniatures is there among the defenders of Cadia, like prominently in that picture. It's not even hidden. You can see it very clearly. It's right on the right-hand side.
Yeah, it's on number 8 there. They say in the book too, among Celestine's detractors is Inquisitor Katarine Greyfax. She appears during the final battle for Cadia, released from a Tesseract vault by Trazyn the Infinite, who has traveled to Cadia for his own obscure reasons. And then it goes into like more stuff about her and her interactions with the new triumvirate of
the triumvirate. Yep.
And then let's go to that page where it's where they show it's in the battle report. And the battle report's like basically like Abaddon and Celestine trying to like close on each other, but all this like rando stuff keeps happening, and they don't really get a fair shake at it. In the battle report here, where's the lineup? Here it is. Okay, so number 8. According to my mission special rules, I can play some of my deep strike later in the game as they're released from one of Trazyn the Infinite's many Tesseract labyrinths.
Huh. Well, that sounds definitely interesting.
Yep.
So they're working together?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess there's missions in here, Altar War missions, and apparently the Phalanx comes out of the warp and appears, because right now they did an emergency transition to the warp when Be'lakor got aboard and was like trying to like turn the Phalanx on the Imperial Palace and Terran orbit. So they did like emergency transition to the warp, and they were like fighting in the warp, but apparently they got control of it. Now the phalanx shows up at Cadia, so the fists are there too. And so that's like another spoiler from the book, but they're basically talking about all the special rules. Like you can play missions like inside the depths of the phalanx as chaos tries to like still take control of it, and they're like fighting, repelling borders, and then all the stuff on the planet.
That sounds like a blast.
Yeah, it's looking, and then this is it right here. Actually, it's in the White Dwarf. Having secured the Warborn ingress aboard the Phalanx, the mighty battle forces of the Imperial Fortress, a horde of demons and iron warriors all but overrun the ancient vessel. It was in the Chamber of Storms, surrounded by the sanctuary of the chapter's greatest heroes, that the Sentinels of Terra made their stand.
Woo. Nice. It wouldn't be the first time that the Inquisition and Necrons have worked together. If you guys remember the 5th edition Grey Knight Codex, they had Tesseract Labyrinths. And they just said in the Grey Knight Codex, it just said it was a piece of Xenos tech. It didn't say where they got it from. And then when the Necron Codex came out, it was like, oh, it was Necron tech.
Well,
so it was like,
yeah, that fluff was written by Matt Ward, and it was actually an exchange between Trazyn and Greyfax. If you read through it, It was them talking back to each other, and he's like, "Here's a gift for you," and then she doesn't realize it and gets trapped in the Tesseract vault. And then now they're back.
So that's kind of cool. I don't know. That's exciting. It's neat.
It's going to be a really, really exciting series of books as they come out here. And there's some more stuff. And I don't want to spoil too much out of the White Dwarf, but there's a lot of
Dumbledore dies. Dumbledore dies at the end.
Too soon, bro. Too soon. Man.
Obviously, right before we go on commercial break, let's take this opportunity to mention our sponsors. Elric's Hobbies.
Ooh.
Best friends with Mike Haspel.
Yeah. The tightest bases in the business.
Best friend to me because they created the game aid of all game aids.
And actually just re-released it in wood, so now it's grip and grain status.
Oh, wow. And just so everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about, we're not just uttering words here. They have the ultimate eye on the scene hobby tracker device that I don't even know.
That's actually what it's called on their website. That's literally what they say. They say eyes on the scene hobby tracker hardware. Now with gripping grain status, it lets you track maelstrom cards, psychic powers, turn counters, literally everything.
And then in parentheses, game aids.
Yeah, and that's so obviously these guys make a lot more than cool hobby add-ons. They also make resin bases and all sorts of baller ass gear. Check them out. elricshobbies.com. True beasts, two friends of the show. Let's do this commercial break and then jump into this interview.
Dear veterans, quickly make your way to thelongwar.net and find out how to reap your hard-earned spoils of this long war. For our allies at dicehead.com have rewarded us all with an extra 6% discount on all dicehead.com merchandise. So stock up, dear veterans, and enjoy.
elricshobbies.com is your exclusive portal to upgrading your hobby. When you sign up at thelongwar.net, you gain an instant promotional discount good for 10% off at Elric's Hobbies. elricshobbies.com.
Dear veterans, quickly make your way to thelongwar.net and find out how to reap your hard-earned spoils of this long war. For our allies at secretweaponsminiatures.com have rewarded us all with an extra 10% discount on all Secret Weapon Miniatures merchandise. So stock up, dear veterans, and enjoy.
All right, and we're back. We have a fantastic interview for you guys tonight. Haspel is going to interview Jason Craze of Slow Fuse Gaming.
Yeah, and Jason, for those of us who don't know your whole background and everything, do you want us to just give a quick rundown of like exactly what you used to do pertaining to the hobby and what you're doing now?
And thanks for having me right off the gates. I've basically been doing the hobby since I was 8 years old, but in and out like everybody, and that makes me, having been doing it for like, I don't know, a million years. So since it was dirt. But coming about the early 2000s, I started working at GW. I hounded them for years, and they told me I was too expensive and too out of their league. And I finally weaseled my way in and was the regional business manager for the West Coast for 3.5 years for GW when they started the U.S. business going into a regional office setup.
About what time frame was that? That was like right at the end of third or fourth edition?
Yeah, right at the end of third, 2004, 5, and 6 era.
Okay, yeah. So now I know who to blame. No, I'm just playing.
It was all me. It was literally all me.
No, I was getting ready to say
Dave Taylor in the good old days of having like a White Dwarf US and all that stuff. So it was kind of the previous golden age for GW US, in my opinion. It was good stuff.
Hey, Jason, Juice here. I just wanted to go ahead and thank you for all the love that you gave my NIDS in 3rd and 4th edition. I appreciate it. And I know you are the sole responsible person for giving me Nidzilla, my Gene Stealers, all the love that they deserve. And since you left the company, I understand now why Gene Stealers have sucked so bad. You know, I appreciate it. I just want to say thank you.
We got to bring us back to the 112.
Because with all the love comes all the hate that comes in too. So great. Now I'm a marked man. Fantastic.
And now you're doing stuff on Twitch, obviously, and you're part of the Long War Network, and that's where I know you from. But how did you get started on doing that aspect of the hobby, like spreading your hobby time, sharing it with people, essentially?
Wow, that's been I've been on Twitch for coming up on 2 years. Well, just past our 2-year anniversary, as a matter of fact. And it was not on my radar to be doing creative on Twitch. It wasn't a thing when I started. It was all video game centric. And so, we played video games. We had a good following for everything from competitive MOBAs to when I finished up at like World of Tanks and doing mostly PvP streams late night, 5 days a week. And it was just a thing I got into as I don't even know. It was kind of a kick in the pants, like, hey, let's see if we can do this. It seems weird. I'm an old guy. Will anybody watch me do video games? And then I just let's be honest, I got to where I was so rage inducing playing PvP games live, 5 and 6 days a week for 8 hours a day. And just, I was losing it, man. I wanted to like break monitors, and I was trying to hold my cool. We had a rage jar on the stream to where every time I cursed or every time I shot a teammate, and did team damage, I'd have to grab a handful of change and throw it in the rage jar. It was part of our shtick, but it wound up costing me like lots of money every month. So I was like, I gotta stop this.
Because you obviously had to raffle the rage jar off, right?
Oh yeah, we raffled the rage jar off at the end of every month, and there were times where people got, I don't know, like $100 freaking of in-game currency because of my rage jar being overflowing. It was hilarious. It was hilarious in a way, and it was frustrating for me because I was like, well, there goes a good solid week of tips right out the door. So I think at some point it's like a 12-step program. You got to take a look and say, what can I do to get things back on track and not hit the bottle and kick the dog and all that kind of stuff. So. My mom had her knees replaced. I left streaming for a month and a half last year, and right around May. And while I was up with her, helping her rehab for a month and a half, it just hit me. I was like, I need to just do something creative. I need to sit down and do my art. I've always done art, painting, jewelry, metalwork, obviously the stuff in the hobby. And I just started saying, what would work? What ties into games so that Twitch won't get mad at me for doing it, and that I might actually get somebody that watches me other than like my mom. And, because I was talking about changing gears on Twitch, you'll lose your whole following. There's some loyal people, but you'll lose everything. And so I literally came back and I picked out some Infinity models and I just sat down and started painting. And that was it. And from there, it just grew. We had an instant following. People were, I think frothing at the mouth for that as an outlet. And I was blown away. Not only were people finding me who had seen us from video games and were coming back in and saying things like, oh my God, I didn't know you did this. This is great. I used to do this when I was a teenager or during college. And then when I found out about girls, I stopped. And it's cool to see somebody like us doing it. And then it's just tumbleweeded since then. It's been great.
It's funny that you say that. I have the opposite story because I always knew about girls. And then when I found out about 40K, I gave up girls.
Yeah. We won't tell Bernie.
Yeah, pretty standard. But so obviously you've been doing this for a while. What was the figure? What was the setup there? Was there a lot of other people doing what you were doing? Were you one of the first there versus now? You know, there's so many more people involved. Like, have you seen your views? People that are watching you, has it gone down? Has it gone up? Like, what's the last couple of years been like?
Well, it's, I've been lucky that I've seen pretty steady growth on Twitch even from the beginning. And I think that it's all about personality and content. And that sounds like two simple things to say, well, yeah, no shit. But those are hard to maintain, right? Especially in the world of video games. So you were always fighting for a new angle if you were stuck playing one game, or if you're trying to be a variety streamer, that's very difficult because it's hard to build a crowd around an ever-changing, input, so to speak. They may catch you with playing their favorite game one day, and then the next game you're doing something they don't give a damn about, and so they may forget about you. In this world, I'm old, so for me, I can keep my focus and remember that last Tuesday this guy did that thing that I like, so I'm going to find him next Tuesday. Young kids on the internet, they find you one day doing what they like, and the next day you're not. They just go away, and they don't even bother to come back on Tuesday. And so it's a challenge. And so, since doing the creative, what we found is that the momentum just keeps building. And because the content is so variable, but it all deals with the same thing. It's all a world that these guys like.
It makes sense because you can paint a different model to change your gears, right. Different creative juices going a different way. Put something on hold to get through a block maybe, but it's still all the same hobby, the same type of content. Because even if you don't play Infinity, but you're here to learn how to paint or learn a technique, every technique applies to every type of model.
You got it. I'm constantly blown away. We'll pick up a model from an obscure manufacturer that nobody knows they even have a game or make miniatures, and it will generate more interest just because of the sculpt or just because of the technique I apply to it. Sometimes it's not even about the model. It's that the community has a more kind of amorphous sense of not only the quality, but the content in general. Like Kenny nailed it. It's all the same universe, man. It doesn't matter what manufacturer or what game. Sir, there's the people that come in and say, hey, how come you're not painting Games Workshop today? And we'll show them a Games Workshop model and they'll be hooked. They'll be like, oh, I see. And then they'll stick around for whatever it is you're doing. It's whereas video games, man, that's not the way it is. If they catch you playing Minecraft and they think Minecraft is a shitty little kid game, they're never coming back. It doesn't matter. So, you only get, like, in the video game world, I think that old adage that you only get one time to make a first impression is really what you're fighting for. Here, that's still true. You don't want to have somebody walk in on you while you're, saying something stupid and off the wall, and you may lose them forever. But here, I feel like you get that opportunity is broader to make that first impression. They might stick with you for a couple of hours to see where you're headed with this model that you're painting. If they come in at the beginning, ask you a couple of questions, interact with the community in chat. It's just a totally different world.
Yeah. And I agree with what you're saying there wholeheartedly, because it's like you might tune in and just be like, hey, I don't know this guy and I don't know what he's doing, but what did he just do to that base? I've never seen that before. And it might not even have anything to do with the model, but it's just a technique that you may not even be highlighting because it's normal to you, but I've never seen it before. And so it just blows my mind. I think it's going to take the hobby to the next level.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that really makes it for the creative streamers, because the hobby is all inclusive. Whether it's one aspect of assembly, of basing, using an airbrush, using a paintbrush, there's a myriad of techniques out there, and everybody wants to master them and add them to their hobby arsenal, their hobby toolbox. That there literally isn't enough hours in a day to watch what everybody's doing on Twitch, and it's so interactive and it's so engrossing. It's a really cool thing. I mean, I was hooked from the beginning. I was watching mostly Kenny streams, from last summer, so it's a great time.
Yeah, it's amazing. I kind of talk to other people that are like, well, Art's been on Twitch for a while, but you guys are seeing more momentum than any other section of creative other than, Bob Ross and the Food Network, and because those get lumped in with us too. But, that's cool. And it's like, yeah, but you have to understand, like, art in general, it gives people the ability to hunt around and find somebody that's on the same kind of creative wavelength. But miniature wargaming art is something that transcends all these boundaries instantly. I can be painting a fantasy miniature one day, a sci-fi miniature the next, a zombie, a post-apocalyptic, whatever, a historic figures, World War II, Bolt, whatever, you name it. We span the gamut of what might interest somebody. Whereas, You go to Bob Ross, if you're there for the tools to learn, but you're not really interested in mountains and pretty little trees, you could get lost there and not feel like it has a value. If you go to somebody that does anime, you might be like, oh, wow, I didn't know you could do that with Photoshop if they're doing a digital painting, but then you might not clue into the art they're doing. And so there's only so much you're going to glean from those places because they can't reach into what you consider to be your holy site, so to speak. Miniature wargaming, we can touch everybody's holy site, at some point. If they stick around long enough, we're going to get to it because they can ask a question. Hey, have you ever thought about, painting a tank, like a Panzer tank from World War II? I'm really into scale models. And I'll be like, hell yeah, man, we can do that same technique on this sci-fi tank. And they'll be like, I never thought of that. And that might get them into the game and find or kindle a love that they didn't know, because it doesn't have those kind of same barriers or those walls that are built up because you don't like big eyes on anime chicks or something,
Yeah, Jason, I knew you and I were one of the same when you brought up two innovators of the game, of the art world, is literally Bob Ross, a G of all G's, right? And you're talking about like the food industry. I talk about it all the time. Like Emerald Lagasse literally changed the face of the Food Network. I think he is the sole reason why the Food Network became so popular. He changed the game. We had nothing but people like Wolfgang Puck, monotone, no personality, and this comes in. So absolutely, everybody has got to find their niche, and it is amazing the job that you guys have done and the niche that you found.
As a former Air Force veteran, I got to shout out to Bob Ross because he is also an Air Force veteran. So that's just awesome.
Bob's a man.
Well, before we get too much further, how about, Jason, with some of your extensive knowledge behind the Twitch scene, can you give everybody else out there maybe a rundown, a quick 2 or 3 things that you failed on, that you didn't hit the mark, that you thought something was going to go a different way, this and this? You don't have to tell us, the outcome of it, but just a couple roadblocks that you hit yourself within the first couple of years.
Oh gosh, that's a great question. I don't know that 2 or 3 is going to get deep enough into the list. There's been so many screw-ups. When I started, it wasn't, I won't say it was a knee jerk. It was something where I was like, you know what? I'm sitting around playing these damn competitive PvP games, and I hear there's this Twitch thing where people come and watch you. Maybe that will rekindle my love for it. So I said, okay, get a computer, do a thing. It's got to be simple. And throw it together and see how it goes. And immediately it smacked me in the face. And I said, oh, this is real. This is a job. There's so much to pay attention to. So I think underestimating the workload, the I want to say seriousness, but that isn't the right word. But, it is a business, whether you want to do it as a hobby or whether you want to do it.
The required commitment, don't underestimate the
level is legit. Yeah. I mean, it's something where if you're already working a job, you're going to find out really quick that, because as soon as the worst case scenario is people like what you do at that point, because every single person that I've known that's got into it has underestimated that commitment. And like I said, we get in there and we would get, the first night I streamed, it was like 3 people. So it was no big deal. The second night I streamed, we got hosted by somebody that dropped 50 people in my lap. And I had never in my life played a game and had to watch a chat box and all this.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
People looking and talking to you and asking you questions and telling you you're an idiot and don't do that, do this, and don't do that, and it's like your head wants to explode. And at the end of that night, I was so exhilarated and so bummed out at the same time that I nearly stopped streaming. I was like, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. Not because I couldn't get over the technical hurdles, but because I was like, this is real. This is interacting with people. And if you want to do it, you have to make sure that you're meeting the needs of those people out there that you can't control. And so it's like, oh God, I don't know if I want to herd cats on the internet my whole life, So I would say that's probably the largest one and the one that I see that puts more people in the dirt than anything else. They just they think it's easy because it's playing games, it's painting models, it's whatever. And I don't want to say it's not fun. It's great, but it is a large commitment, a large thing to take on, to keep up with, and to, keep evaluating and reevaluating on a day-to-day basis.
Yo, herding cats is a lifestyle for some of us out there.
The struggle is real.
Yeah, I can I can relate on a couple instances. I own a food truck and catering business, and if I had $1 for every time somebody said, "Oh yeah, I cook. I'm a pretty good cook at home. I was getting ready to buy a food truck and operate and do all this and this. You know, if you want to talk, I can tell you what my ideas were." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, awesome, thank you." Like you have
Diplomacy
no idea, brother.
rules in those situations.
Yeah, it's like you in your element is not the same of what the real world is. So. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's crazy because we're seeing unparalleled growth right now in creative for just the miniature side of it, and I'm watching creative in general grow as Twitch opens its arms and allows more content providers to come in doing things that don't relate to gaming, that don't have anything to do with it. They just started their in real life thing, so now you've got this big, broad, open plate that you can work with. So I think we're going to see even more growth there in different directions, but miniatures has been expanding at a rate that's exponential week to week.
Jason, if you could explain to the audience, some people might not like. We're throwing the term creative out there, like it's it's a different thing. Like break it down for them. What that means actually.
So Twitch, and that's great, because one of the biggest barriers for us in Twitch in general, I think, is that the world at large thinks Twitch is about video games, and it was. That's how it came out. It was just in TV. It was a way for people to play multiplayer games, broadcast it, tournaments, things like that, and it just grew and got out of hand to where now it's hundreds of thousands of people watching the League of Legends championships and things like that. So whenever I talk to people out in the world, I say, "Hey, have you ever heard of Twitch?" Because they ask me what I do. And they'll say, "Oh yeah, my friend that plays Halo, or my friend that does this game, World of Warcraft or whatever. They've talked about Twitch before." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, so that they do video games on there." I go, "Did you know that you can watch the cooking channel, the Food Network, that you can do?" Because what I do is, we do live painting tutorials, and everybody goes, "Oh, like Bob Ross." And I go, "Yeah, he's even on Twitch." And everybody goes, "He's dead." I go, "Okay, well, get past that. He's still on Twitch," right? So. Creative is a avenue that Twitch opened up to allow people to do things like, it started out with music, cooking, and painting, drawing, digital artwork. And it is a subsection, I guess. If you had it in a perfect world, it would be Twitch Gaming, and Twitch Creative is the way to think about it. And Twitch Creative is when you open the door and you find all of the things that might include gaming-centric ideas, but presented in an artistic measure, right? So it's painting, it's making music, it's people doing sculptures, you name it. There's a guy that does body painting, a girl that does body painting, cosplay, costume stuff. It's a lot of things that right now are centered around the same culture, whether it's geek, nerd, gamer culture, but from a standpoint of making and creating. And it's the best thing ever. I mean, obviously, this is where our lives happen. But yeah, it is. You find it at Twitch TV, same place you find all the video games. It's just another tab on the menu.
It's a tab, and just like anything on the internet, they use hashtags to subcategorize it further.
Yep.
So you have the creative tab that takes you to a different window of all the other subsections, and we stream in creative hashtag figurines and hashtag painting. So like those are like some of the, just two of the entire page that's filled up of creative individuals.
Oh yeah. And they just keep adding more and more and more, which I think is great, because the biggest issue we have is we need to find people like, Wargaming is a good example. I still walk out to tournaments, the local hobby store, game store, comic store, and I talk to people and they've never heard of Twitch. And I'm like, how is that possible? I thought everybody in our world at least knew video games. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I have a PS4, or I have a Xbox, but I don't know what Twitch is. I might have heard about it." And so it's like, my goal is to march out there and to show people, hey, there's this whole interactive venue out there that I don't care if you're an introvert. I don't care if you hate socializing. I don't care if you're the biggest butterfly on the planet. This is a great place for you to hang. You can talk and chat. You can never say a word. You're still going to get something out of it. And everybody, I think, to a man or woman, everybody that I've reached out to and said, hey, you need to come check it out, if they have an ounce of time in their life that would allow them to do this, they do this. And they find a way. And most of those people you'll start to talk to them later, and they'll be like, I have stopped watching my favorite TV shows, and now I have my favorite Twitch shows.
Yeah,
and that's great.
I'm glad you bring that up too, because like back in the day, like places like the Battle Bunker in Chicago, they had like a painting bar and you could literally just go sit there and hobby with a bunch of strangers. Honestly, I would go to the Battle Bunker. You don't know these people, but they're all into the hobby. We're all there to do the same thing. Or you go to local, friendly local game store and you're hobbying together and it brings that sense of community in there. Well, not a lot of people, there's people that can't go to bring their entire Beats lab down to the local game store to paint figures or whatever. But you can sure turn on Twitch and hobby with you or Kenny or somebody while you're watching and you're interacting with the chat. And it's that same feeling of community, of camaraderie, of, hey, we're all hobbying together and I'm learning stuff. I'm seeing techniques that I've never seen before, maybe, or you're doing things more efficiently than I would, because I'm like, man, I can't get this. Oh, wait a minute. He just did it in like 2 seconds. Like, what am I doing?
Right. Yeah. The possibilities are endless. And for the first time ever, it goes wherever you go. So I don't care if you're a military kid and you get stationed someplace new, you don't have to go. I mean, you should still go learn your local hobby scene, but now you take your local hobby scene with you. And I think there's more power in that than anything. This community, this group of friends can last as long as you want to or need it to last, because you can grow old, move state to state, go out of country, and always talk to these same people about these new things, painting models. That paint bar just grew wheels, basically, and you don't even have to pay gas to get to it. So it's amazing.
That's
literally
a
amazing.
Fantastic point. And I want to bring this up because I just discovered this. So other people might be like, oh, doy, that's been out for a long time. But if you have like an Amazon Fire Stick or like the Google Play Sticks or Roku or something like that, they have Twitch on there. It's an app you can just download and you can watch Twitch on your television set. Just like a TV show, essentially.
Yeah, that's how 40K Sue watches us.
Yep.
Yeah, so I just discovered that like last week, so I feel kind of stupid.
Damn, dog, my mom knew about that before you. That's bad.
Yeah, if my mom could just figure out how to make an account on Twitch, she could actually talk and chat.
It did take my mom about 6 tries before she figured that out. And then we finally sat down. I was like, Mom, I'm going to get this figured out for you. Okay, login screen, type in 40K Sue. It says that name is already taken. It's like, that is fucking impossible. You already made an account and you forgot the fucking password. Nobody else in 40K Sue. She's like, no. And I was like, did a quick search. Straight up, there's a 40K Sue in there. And she's like, and it's got her picture. I was like, that's obviously you. She's like, oh. And I was like, try to log in as 40K Sue. Reset the fucking password. She's like, I was like, Mom, come on.
That's so good. But see, I can appeal to that. Like, my mom is an artist. My mom is a jeweler. And when I show her Twitch, she can find things on there that will help her and teach her. I'm not saying that she's going to start streaming, but there's something for everybody. If you have that creative, kind of leaning anywhere in your life, there's going to be something there. It's not all kids drawing Pokemon. It's like there's legit, like the people that make the miniatures we play with are starting to stream. One of the top sculptors for the Kingdom Death models streams on Twitch now. And so you can see this amazing timeline of creation from the point of concept to the point of completion during a commission painting of this same thing. And that's hard to find, man. I mean, yeah, you can get stuff on demand on YouTube, but you ask a question that may or may not get answered. And for us, it literally is live. You can walk on, and I've had people come in the same as Kenny has, and they'll say, hey, I've been trying that technique. It doesn't work for me. And I'll be like, what color are you doing it over? And they'll say, I'm doing it over blue. And I'll grab a model off the shelf that is blue. That's one of my test models. And I'll do it for them right there. You can't give people that kind of interaction in any other format. No,
it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And then one of the things that I've kind of noticed, with it is that, and you've been in the hobby long enough, you'll remember the old White Dwarfs, the really old stuff, and the old codices from like, second edition, third edition, and everything. You open them, and at the time, those models were incredible. And if I look at them now, I'm like, wow, these are kind of buster. And it's not the fault of the guys who originally did that. It's just that there's a feedback loop going on, where people are just getting better at the hobby and learning new techniques and sharing those techniques. And then people are getting better at the hobby, and it's just getting better and better and better until, and companies are coming out with better models, of course, everything just feeds upon itself. And I think Twitch is just helping. It's going to accelerate that exponentially, I think.
Yeah, Twitch is another gear in that in that whole machine, because it allows for the interaction to never have to delay, really. And you know, I gripe sometimes that we're in a world of instant gratification because it causes people to not have any patience. And then I talk about how what Twitch does is make it to where you don't have to have any patience. You know, but there is a good side of it because of the community, because it allows a comfort zone for people who might be on the fence about getting into it, people who might be wanting to get back into it but feel like, I don't want to be the old guy doing this. They come and see me with all my gray hair and they're like, oh shit, now I'm the young guy in the room, you know? So, it can be a benefit to everybody. We find all sorts of people with different hooks as to why they come. We've got guys, PTSD vets that come in that are like picking up miniature painting because it helps them focus and gets them through their stuff. And so we've got members of the community that are doing, a healing process using it. And it's like everybody has a reason for entering the hobby, and this community can provide almost every answer, if not every answer, to all of those reasons. They came in with the whys, and we can give them the hows all across the board. And I think that's great. I mean, that's really why I do it. It's why I turn the computer on every day.
Nice. Yeah, because I used to work at a game store, Gamers Haven. I still hang out a large portion of my time there. And one of the things I ran into is kind of what you're talking about, where somebody would buy, Dungeons and Dragons miniatures, but they'd always, hey, do they sell these guys pre-painted? Or we have, miniatures on display in cases, and they'd ask to buy those. And I'm like, hey, you can paint this. Like, I'll show you how to paint this. And the people that would take me up on it, every time I showed them like a technique like dry brushing, it would just absolutely blow their mind, And I remember the very first time I saw somebody dry brush. I was like, what?
It's magic.
Yeah, it was like, so now it's even better. You can be like, look, there are all these resources on Twitch, and it's not just seeing like a video tutorial. You can literally say, hey man, I don't quite understand what you're doing there. Can you slow down, or can you speed up, or can you do that again? And it just helps people learn, and they can find out it's not really that hard. I mean, you're developing a skill set, but it's about technique and developing that skill.
Yeah, exactly. And we reiterate that's one of the key things, on our Long War Network stuff on Twitch, is that we tell everybody it's only as daunting as your ability to invest time in learning the technique. It's not like we were born with an extra digit. We don't have 18 fingers. We don't have extra muscles in our eyes that make this easy to do. Everybody's got the skills. If you have, the physical motor skills to put paint on, it's literally just patience and the time. And as they keep watching, they have fun in the community, and then you wind up seeing people interact with our community gallery that we've got set up, and we can watch the growth of these individuals as they post their models. We've given them I dread to call it a safe space because of all the stuff that's going on right now. Everybody's like crying about needing a safe space, but it's a safe place where there's no comments on the pictures. They post them up, we give them feedback. It's great, and we watch their growth. Today we had a guy live in chat put his model, tell us he was stuck on how to go with the skin, gave him some pointers, and by the end of the stream, he had applied those pointers, and the model looked freaking fantastic. And everybody in chat, hundreds of people in chat sitting there watching this model from the initial picture where it was kind of base coated to when he glazed it and washed it and puts it up on stream at the end. And it's not even me having to do the work. Sometimes I feel like they drive it and all I do is point. I'm just the game show host. They're playing the game. And that's great. I told him that's the most uplifting part of it, is watching your progress as a viewer, because you're driving the community. You're maybe helping somebody out there that says, oh, I can do this. Look at that guy. If he can do it, I can do it. And that's what's going to build this. And that goes back to your early statement of how it drives the community along with the technology, along with the general quality going up and moving the hobby forward. Now we've got the whole community engine that can do it, so it can happen at a very grassroots level. Whereas before, who the hell before thought they could sculpt their own miniature, get it cast and get it painted in a realm where 100 people would watch them do it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
now it's a possibility for somebody that's just starting out tomorrow. Literally, you just pick up a brush. If you're any kind of good or have a great personality, you can get it done and grow with this community the same pace they are, or faster or slower, whatever you want, whatever you're comfortable with.
On YouTube, when I first started, like 2 years ago, it's when you get like 100, when you get like 50 subscribers, like 50 subs, they send you like a little message like, congratulations, you got 50 subs. You basically filled up a movie theater with people watching what you're doing. And I was like, damn, I'm nervous now.
And doesn't that make it real?
And now it's live.
Yeah, and now we're doing it live.
Yeah.
Like, because you didn't even think when you get people think of numbers like, oh, that's people, PewDiePie has 50 million people. Yeah, that's insane. Got it. But like, if there's 100 people you watching you do something, how many times in your life have you ever been like in a room with 100 people watching you do something?
Right. And
you were required to engage with them. Like, that's not standard operating procedure for most people.
Well, that goes back to what are some of the biggest pitfalls, right? It's the worst case scenario is that you're good at what you do and people want to watch you, and that is the scariest thing ever, because now all those people are live, and you have to deal with it. You have to talk back if you want to engage them, and because that's the part of the engine that we have to provide to keep that community going. Because if that's not there, they disperse and go elsewhere, and then it falls back to everybody just waiting for the next issue of the magazine to come out next month, or going to an internet forum. And all those tools are good, but as soon as you can make it live, as soon as you can answer a question that somebody has right then and there, then that's going to benefit 10 other people that had the same question but might have been afraid to ask it or didn't know how to ask it. And it's to me, it's the tool our industry needed to be able to reach the next level of engagement.
Well, I know I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I just wanted to talk about my online hobby journey. I've been putting on some quality pounds of hobby muscle since this summer, watching everybody's Twitch streams. I don't know if you guys have noticed. I've been bulking up.
I thought you were taking. We actually had to talk to you about that steroids. We thought you were taking.
That's a different story. That's something else. I need those to survive. It's fine.
He's just carb loading without the gluten, the non-gluten carb loading.
That's not easy, but Rob's been doing it.
The play is so real.
And Rob's on Twitch now, which is the Long War Network. It's a stream team.
3 times a week now.
He's on 3 times a week. Slow Fuse is on 4, maybe 5 times a week. I'm on 2 times a week. And now Haspel is going to be soon to take over Sundays. And so the Long War Network is the real deal. When we talk about this, the future of the hobby, we don't mean like, hey, sometime in the future. We mean today, homies. Like, this shit is happening right now. The Long War is on Twitch, and very soon we will be, doing this, what you listen to right now on Twitch, for a whole different world of interaction. And I mean, that is the dream. That is the thing the hobby needed to go forward. And I'm just glad I met Jason. Glad I met Rob years ago, because I get to be in the middle of it right now. That's sometimes I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Like in my Beats lab and look down and it says like 225 people. I'm like, oh my God, don't say anything stupid. Don't say anything stupid.
Don't fuck this up right now.
Don't freak out.
Don't fuck this up. But it's
real, man. It's the best thing ever. I am like, I count my blessings every day that we have this community and that they share the love and the passion for the hobby that we do, and that it has become less of an insular, thing that I do by myself as I travel the country and, sit in a hotel room painting battle Barbies, and you're afraid to talk to people about it sometimes. And now it's like you can out yourself. You can be part of a community. Do your thing.
No, I can finally do my thug thizzle and let my freak flag fly.
Freak flag fly.
All day, but I think we hit that one on the mark, guys. What are you saying?
Yeah, I was just gonna, thanks, Jason, for spending your time with us and everything. But is there any other place that you want, to reiterate where folks can find you online? Any addresses or anything like that you want to hammer down?
Thanks, man. Yeah, thanks for having me again. I'm glad to be part of the Long War Network moving forward. It's going to be great. We got a big year coming in. I think that everybody's going to be pleasantly surprised with all the cool stuff we got going. And I'm easy to find. I am Slow Fuse Gaming, all one word. Twitch.tv, Slow Fuse Gaming, and every social media outlet you can imagine. Also,
Twitter, at Slow Fuse Gaming, Facebook, at Slow Fuse Gaming, like all day, every day.
Everything Slow Fuse Gaming. It's slowfusegaming.com if you want to come drop your work in our whip gallery. That's where the Long War Network is posting all of our community stuff. Rob, Kenny, everybody that's coming on Twitch from the Long War is going to send our viewers there, so you can go check out what everybody in our community is doing, as well as add on your own stuff and get feedback and hang out with us and become part of our little crew and make new friends. So great spot, easy to find. Come find us, spend time with us. We love you all. Thanks, guys.
All right, Haspel, take us out.
Hold the line. Stay with me. If you find yourself alone riding in green fields with the sun on your face, do not be troubled, for you are in Elysium and you're already dead.